Good morning, my front wheel skids, Spurs fans, Tottenham fans, keywords, transfers. Oh, mate, we lost the game. We'll get onto that a bit later. Got a few emails over the last few days. I was supposed to do a video yesterday. I did do one, but I thought I'd do a fresh one, just in case that one come across a bit funny. You know what I mean? So I got the Tottenham game on. I was just doing my final analysis where it went wrong, and I'm going to send it to Thomas Frank, and I'm going to be furious, and I'm going to do a 1.5 hour TV special with a 2 hour YouTube special. I'm going to go and buy myself 100 subs every other day. Or if I'm a bigger channel, I'll go and buy myself 1,000 subs, eh? Blood. From the streets, yeah, blood. We'll do that, innit? Do you know what? What I wanted to talk about was change for Tottenham. I had a few emails expressing cautiousness regarding change for Tottenham. I express cautiousness around change for Tottenham, only because the narrative in the last few days leading up to the game yesterday, I don't know whether it's they didn't word it right, but it sounded very strange, like they're gatekeeping the process of protesting. Let's get it straight. Let's get to the point. You can't protest on the street. We've had 20 years of shit. You can't protest on the street and then tell supporters not to say anything in stadium, not to chant. That's like watering down the protest on the outside. That's like taking the pressure off Daniel Levy in the stadium. That's how protests work from the terrace, bruv. That's when you can put the most pressure on Daniel Levy. That sounds very strange, yeah, not to say anything in the stadium. You can have all your excuses and all your answers, but we've had 24 years of this crap, and to gatekeep people's mouths, that was one thing that was really weird. The second thing that was really weird is the way you're going about the protest and the way that you're conducting yourself. It's very strange. It feels consultation with the club. Consultation with the club. That's one thing that feels very weird. No protest. If you're going to put the club under pressure, you don't consult with them. You never consult with someone. But it sounds like it's like a middle class PR exercise. That's what it sounds like. Maybe it is the class divide has come very prominent when it comes to this, because normally protests like Liverpool, Manchester United, I don't know whether you can remember the Shankly protests or anything like that, but they come from the terraces. They come from the streets. They didn't come from a middle class PR campaign where we say please and thank you, and we've got little posters and we're being gatekept. As someone who can't afford to go Tottenham anymore, been priced out of Tottenham, the whole family been priced out of going Tottenham, I don't mind getting behind any protest against ENIC, Daniel Levy. That's where I stand, yeah. But your change for Tottenham seems very middle class. I can afford it attitude. I've got season ticket attitude. I'll tell you when to bark. No, that's not how it works. And you said on one program it's not about the ego thing. Is that why you're appearing on everything and hardly saying anything? You appear on Last Word at Spurs. You don't say sod all. 30 seconds timed the other night, I think it was 22.5 seconds. And then you had Jason McGovern above your head say, also, again, we're not saying nothing in the stadium, are we? Who's we? The royal we. Because I tell you what, Jason McGovern, you're in a different country, bruv. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, you haven't been priced out the stadium, mate, obviously. You know what I mean? Mr. fucking time money bags. I'm just saying it as I see it, boys and girls. I'm just saying it as I see it. There's no other way to say it, especially when I've got other supporters leaning on me to open my mouth now. For the first time in my life, I've had people actually leaning on me. Go on, Johnny. You tell them straight, mate. And it does. It feels like a fucking middle-class PR lobbying group rather than a full-on pressure protest. A full-on pressure protest felt like the boys when they went down to the training ground a few years ago. Yeah? Now, you've even got that bloke on board, your little middle-class PR, I don't know what it is, campaign, with your little sayings borrowed from other clubs. You know what I mean? Change for Tottenham. Don't say anything about Levy out, ENIC out. In that regards, do you know what? It does sound really strange. It's like you're trying to take the pressure off Daniel Levy and divert it somewhere else. Very casually, very middle-classy, very PR-y. That's all I'm saying about that subject. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, boys and girls. I want Daniel Levy and ENIC out of the club. But I'm very cautious when it comes to this change for Tottenham, because you and me both know if you're working class, low income family, normal everyday Spurs fan, a local, someone who can't afford to go to games, and you're looking at these people protests on, they tell you about the protesting, you read all the bump, you try and look at the YouTube channel, but there's only ever 5 videos there. You try and get information off the website, but it's just nothing. It does feel like a bit of a hollow little egotistical exercise on behalf of one person who says they speak for 10. Just saying it how it is, bruv. You know what I mean? I'm as transparent as the day is long. Are you? Tottenham versus Bournemouth. Tottenham versus Bournemouth. Well, I'm just watching Tottenham versus Bournemouth. I've just paused it. I had an eye migraine for the first half, so I didn't see the first half until this morning. Might as well chuck it on now while we're sitting here talking. Do you know what? The second half, it was like we're tired. Let's get to the facts, so you won't be that negative. But Bentancur was probably our best man on the pitch yesterday. Do you know what? When I first see the team, it didn't give me thrills. The reality sort of should be creeping in with a lot of people now, because we've got a Champions League. I don't think we're still not strong enough for Champions League. I think we're still undernourished. Obviously, we've always been undernourished. Over the last 24 years, we've been undernourished. This is where I've got a different opinion on the football than you see all these 30-year-olds who's born in 1984 and after. Yeah, that extra 10 years, I've watched one of the greatest Tottenham teams we ever had on the pitch. Then I watched it being built. Then I watched it going downhill. Then I watched Jerry Francis. Was it Jerry Francis? Yeah. You know what I mean? It went downhill, bruv. It went downhill, didn't it? Come on, 95, 96 till present day, it's been downhill. Everyone says 24 years, but with Scholar, Sugar with Jerry Francis, wasn't it? Scholar before that, Sugar. And then Daniel Levy. I just got to say it straight as I feel as I see it now. you're younger Spurs fans who are in their 30s, you're so used to seeing mediocrity that it's become your normal for your norm for your football club. Without knocking any of the players on the pitch, they try and do their best. They try and win games, but it ain't happening. It won't happen. We're not an elite club. Just look at the squad on paper. We're full of inconsistent players, injuries, a chairman who gets us potential. And I wouldn't mind. We couldn't even sub yesterday properly like for like because we've got no one like for like. Tell me who's like for like. Who's who's an elite player who's not mediocre in that squad. In reality, come on. The reality of it, that's one mediocre squad, and people look at it like they're playing FIFA. If I was the manager, I could do this with that squad. If I was the manager, I could do that. Do you know what? No, you couldn't do nothing. You can't do nothing when you've got a poor transfer record in for the last few years, because if we didn't have a poor record transfers in over the last few years, we'd have had a better squad today. So Thomas Frank would have inherited a better squad, and the players that we have brought in would have added to it. Do you know what? Everyone's laying stripes over these transfers. I think you've got to be cautious as well over these transfers. You really have, because they're not the magic egg that you think they are, boys and girls. Maybe in 2 years you'll have a good squad if you kept buying that way. But don't think Kudos is going to win us a cup by himself. He's not Gaza. Don't think Xavi's going to win us a cup by himself. He's not Clive Allen. You know, that's all. What can I say about the football? The actual game was terrible. Everyone sees things with different eyes, but that should have let you have a bit of reality. And you can always go back to Thomas Frank and be positive and say, he told us we was going to lose a game. Yeah, I know football's a funny old game and we lose games. I've been saying that. We win some, lose some. But I don't think you're looking at it, a lot of people are looking at it the proper way. You're not looking at it. People like to argue the stats of all this, but look at the players on the fucking pitch. Yeah? We have got some lazy players. We've got some players who have to work really hard because they're working for two players because the other player's lazy. Now, if you think Paulinho, Kudos, Xavi are the winning answer for our squad, and we do get somewhere this season, fair play for you being Mystic Meg, right? I don't think they're right for our squad. They're right to transfer in, but wow, we still need transfers in, bruv, to rotate like for like. Yeah, I don't think they're right for our squad. They might be. I wanted elite players, and what we got was potential again. That's exactly what we got, potential again, and potential, say 2 potentials and 1 over the hill, a 30-year-old midfielder. That's the reality of it, isn't it? You know, 2 young boys who potentially really good players, and 1 over the hill midfielder. Come back at me if you think I'm wrong. I'm not just negative because we lost the game. I'm just living in the real world where I've seen a lot of teams over the years. Damn sight more teams than these FIFA nutcases who keep saying be positive, be positive. He's a good incoming, he's a good... I've even looked at them on paper. And I've tried to look at the stat side of it. That didn't go down too well, to be honest with you. So come back at me in the comments and the subscribers. Put your comments down and stuff. If you like these videos, they're real talk from real fans. Now I've got a couple of fans behind me. I feel like I wasn't alone in thinking certain things about the protest either. Have a good one. Take care. Baked potato. God bless.